All right, guys. So we need to take a few minutes here and do a reaction to a clip of Stephen A. Smith actually speaking with Chris Wallace. Now, Chris Wallace, you guys know, man, that in 2020, he definitely was pro-Biden in that debate. That was the worst debate performance by a moderator up until ABC. Chris Wallace, man, definitely has been, I guess you can say, somewhat redeemed by not having the worst debate moderation we've ever seen. That now belongs to Lindsey Davis and the other guy that she was with. Name slipping my mind right now for the minute, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We got a clip here though, guys, of Chris Wallace actually asking Stephen A. Smith about the appeal of young black men to Trump. Folks, Trump has made major gains with the black community. Major gains. Folks, Kamala Harris is doing super bad with black people for a Democrat. I mean, for the most part, guys, no matter which poll you're actually looking at, I mean, Trump is getting like 20 to 30%. That's not good for a Democrat, man. I mean, you actually have some polls saying that Trump is getting 17%. That's not good for a Democrat, man. It's not. But Stephen A., man, is definitely on the left. And Chris Wallace is definitely on the left, too. But they know, man, that Kamala Harris is not doing good whatsoever with black men. She's not. And that's going to be a problem. Now, also, Stephen A. is asked, who does he think is going to win in this election? Now, Chris Wallace seems to be kind of stunned. He only says one word in this, what? Like in a question. Considering, you know, that he's on the left and Stephen A. is on the left, you would actually think that they'll be on the same page. Because Stephen A. is actually going to say he believes Kamala Harris is going to win. But Chris Wallace is kind of like, what? It's almost like he doesn't even believe that Kamala Harris is going to win. Because they know, man, that Kamala Harris is doing way worse than Hillary and way worse than Biden. She is performing worse than any Democrat in a very, very long time. I mean, there's talk of Trump actually winning like 330 electoral votes. I mean, it's projected as of right now, man, if Kamala Harris actually loses, this will be the worst defeat for a Democrat in over like 35 years. Guys, I may actually make another video later on because Kamala was actually on with Oprah. And they actually had staged questions from people in the audience. Kamala still was not giving answers. This is not going to work. This is definitely not going to work, man. But let's go and get into it, guys, right over here. CNN's Chris Wallace asked Stephen A. Smith why Trump does relatively well with young black men and who will win. So let's go ahead and roll this clip right here, guys. Here we go.
Why do you think Trump is doing relatively well with young black men?
I think that it's a combination of the disgust and the absence of trust that an abundance of people, not just black males, but an abundance of people in America have with Capitol Hill. And that's what I keep telling folks. I've been telling folks this for the longest time. Listen, when it comes to Donald Trump, he speaks a lot of folks' language. They don't care as much about the message. They care about how he's delivering the message because he delivers it in a way that they want to deliver it to Capitol Hill.
Part of sports is predicting who's going to win.
I still believe it's going to be Kamala Harris that's going to win this election.
Really?
I really do.
Right there, man. He's like, really? These are both Democrats, man. Even though Stephen A. calls himself an independent, no, Stephen A., you're a Democrat. It's almost like Chris Wallace doesn't even really believe his answer right there.
I think she's going to win this election because I think that when you take away the fringes, folks.
Okay. Now, the reason he's about to give makes absolutely no sense. So keep that in mind.
On the fringe, on the extreme right and left, and you get to the center, I think ultimately people are going to look at her, regardless of what they're saying about her. They're going to look at her and say, you can work with her. And the way the streets of America was when he departed from office in 2020, I don't think a lot of people are going to want to relive that. And I think by that virtue is what is going to propel her to the presidency.
Wow. And you know what, guys? Stephen A., man, do you know that Kamala Harris is losing on every single major issue? I'm talking about the economy, immigration, inflation. He's actually saying that the middle is more in line with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a far leftist. She's a far leftist, man. And I believe everybody knows that, man. I mean, trying to paint her as like this centrist makes no sense. Kamala Harris is not a capitalist, man. She's not. This woman is to the left of Bernie Sanders, but he believes that people in the middle are going to flock to Kamala Harris and our communist policies, really? I mean, she actually brought up price gouging again yesterday, which is not a real thing at all. States actually have laws in place to actually stop that. But she's blaming inflation on price gouging. Nobody believes this, man. Someone's telling me, man, that even Stephen A. doesn't believe this. But Stephen A., he has to go out there and he has to run cover for the Democrats. I don't believe that Stephen A. even believes that, man. Her economic policies, man, and Stephen A. always says he's a capitalist. He says he's a conservative when it comes to his money. No, you're not. If you're actually going to go out there and vote for Kamala Harris, and by the way, Stephen A. has been slamming Kamala Harris for not enunciating her policies. He slammed her for that. But he said he's going to vote for her no matter what. He said that already. Remember, you got my vote. That's what he said. Look here. This is a refresher right here. Harry Anton, CNN, talking about Kamala Harris in the danger zone. Because these polls, I believe even he knows, man, these national polls are skewed towards Democrats. And Trump has way overperformed all these polls, man. And the only reason why these polls are the way they are is because they're driven by the left and they're way off. Listen in.
The Electoral College, right? So let's take a look at the average margin. Nationally, Harris is ahead in the average poll by 2.5 points.
And you know what? She's in big trouble. Huge trouble just in the popular vote if she's only up by 2.5. And I don't believe she's actually up by 2.5.
But look in those 7 key battleground states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Harris is only ahead by 0.3 points, John. So the bottom line is, in those 7 key battleground states, it's a significantly tighter race than it is nationally, John.
So Al Gore and Hillary Clinton are calling right now, Harry, asking what the chances are that Harris could win the popular vote but lose in the Electoral College.
Okay. So basically, you note that 2.5 point lead nationally here, right? Okay. Harris's chances, if she wins the popular vote by 2 to 3 points, the chance she wins the Electoral College is only 53%. The bottom line is, once you have to get all the way north to about 3 to 4 points for Harris to have a clear chance, the clear majority chance of winning the Electoral College. If she only wins by less than 2, look at that. Only a 23% chance of winning. Right now, Harris is right now in that danger zone.
Basically saying she can't win the Electoral College with what she actually has right there. She can't win. And Trump has been dominating these swing states.
Zone where basically about half the time, given that popular vote margin nationally, she would win. And so here's the situation. Chance Harris wins the popular vote at this point is about 70%, but the chance she wins the Electoral College is only about 50%.
Yeah. So right there. You guys already saw that right there, man. Kamala Harris is definitely in some major trouble here. Major trouble. And maybe even Chris Wallace, as much as a left-wing guy as he is, maybe he actually knows that. Really? Stephen A? Kamala Harris? Even though I'm pretty sure Chris Wallace also is going to be voting for Kamala Harris. He's going to be doing it. But man, not surprised though by the answer, you know. I'm pretty sure though, just to be fair here, that if a Trump voter was actually saying, you know what, I believe that Trump's going to win, you know, because think of this, man. I'm a Trump voter. I believe he's going to win. Stephen A. He's a Kamala Harris voter, and he believes she's going to win. But deep down inside, man, something's telling me he truly does not believe that, guys. So that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.